Yo, what up, guys? What up, man? Hopefully, y'all guys doing good. Oh, man, it's been a while. Have dropped an actual video, man. So, I got COVID about a week and a half ago or so. Dude, COVID kicked my butt big time, dude. Big time. I was down for about a week. Still have a cough. Again, I feel better, but the cough is taking a while for it to go away. But yeah, man, it just kind of kicked my butt, dude. Really knocked me down. But good thing about it, I feel good. I feel better. I feel back to normal. Besides my cough, so I may cough a few times here and there, but hopefully not too much. But yeah, guys, man, glad to be back. In this video, guys, I'm decided to make this video because this is something that I had to deal with. I received a lot of files for a project that I was working on, a lot of compressed files, and ultimately there were some values in there that needed to be changed. Um, for example, it was supposed to be a pipe delimited file, but it really wasn't. What they did for pipe, instead of having a pipe character, they provided in double quotes the letter I, which is not pipe. Dude, it's a completely different character, completely different. So it was causing issues when I was trying to run a process to extract the data, and I had a lot of files, dude, like literally hundreds and hundreds of files. So one of the things I decided to do, like, you know what, let me write a script that would read every compressed file, and it's gonna modify the data in the file and then resave it back, right, to the same file. So pretty much everything will look the same, but the difference now is that letter I in double quotes. Actually, I end up converting that to an actual pipe, a legitimate pipe character, which then allowed me to run it through my ETL process and everything was fine. So I'm gonna kind of share that. That's what I'm gonna go through today. So if anybody's in a scenario where you need to update a value, it doesn't have to be a common, some kind of delimiter, but it could be anything, any kind of value, especially compressed files, an easy way to make these modifications. So that's the whole purpose of this video. That's what I'm gonna share with y'all guys. Hopefully help somebody out. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. So I have a folder here called, and make sure everything's good, yeah, big enough, called files, and this is where I have my compressed files. In my case, .gz extension. Obviously, I'm working in Windows. Even in Mac, if you're trying to compress it and read these files, you do have to install some additional software. In Windows, you could just go ahead and install the 7-zip application, and yeah, you should be good. Should be able to unzip it and so forth. And in our case, let's kind of take a look at what we're dealing with, right? So I want to be able to share with y'all with what we're dealing with. So I'm going to take one of these files here. Let me bring my 7-zip application, and let me just extract it. I'm gonna say, yep, extract it to that folder, or I could just have a file, right? Remove the backslash, it'll be a file. Um, I guess not. Put it inside a folder, which is fine. And then this is our CSV. Let me just open it up in VS Code. So this is a different file, right? My scenario a little bit different, but again, let's say you need to update. Let's say you have hundreds or even thousands of files, right? Zip files, and there's, especially in my case, where the delimiter was not a valid delimiter, and that caused issues when it comes to extracting, running it through my ETL process. So let's just say in your case, you have we have commas here, but let's say in your ETL process you don't want commas because maybe it's built for pipe delimiters, right? It's looking for the pipe character. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and update all of these files, and we're gonna replace the comma with a pipe delimited character. Obviously, it could be anything else. In my case, it was actual. The way it looked like in my case, it was double quotes, I double quotes, which again, that's not a pipe character, but that's how the data came in, and that was causing issues. So I ended up changing it to a legitimate pipe character, and then obviously it ran fine in my pipeline when I ran my ETL process. In our case, to kind of show you, we're going to replace the comma with pipe. That's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and close that out. Let me go back. We don't need this anymore. So I'm going to delete this folder. Now we have all compressed files here. That's all we have here, right? So now that we have our compressed files, let's go ahead and start scripting out what we want to do. So one of the packages I'm going to bring in is going to be the gzip. All of the packages that I'm going to be using here, guys, are all built inside Python. They come with Python by default, right? So you don't need to do a pip install of anything. It's all default packages that come within Python. I'm going to do a import OS. Then I'm also going to do an import IO. So one of the things I'm going to do first is I'm going to provide my folder path. So let's call it folder path. This is going to be this folder here, which is called files. In your case, it could be located on a network, somewhere else, doesn't matter, wherever that's at. Go ahead and specify that. So let me go ahead and copy this. All right. So now that I have that specified, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to generate a list of. So since I specify this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to end up building a list of all of these files but the full paths of each file, right? So it'll be all of this with the actual file name concatenated, right? The full paths of the file. So then I could iterate through the process and then do my changes and resave it, right? So that's kind of what I'm going to do. So in this case, let's call this full file path list. And then what we're going to do here, we're going to do a comprehension. So let's go ahead and do, let's see. First, I'm going to call it F. That's going to be my variable for F in OS dot list directory. And in this case will be folder path. Let me do this as well to be able to see it a little bit different. Word wrap, right, to kind of help out. So I'm doing for F in OS list directory. So keep in mind what this method does is when we provide this path, it's actually going to give us back the list of all these files, but only the file names only, right? We don't get the full path, full directory path. We just get the file name only. And then one of the things I'm going to do is, because I only want files, so there may be, for example, let's say you have other folders inside this folder. So there's files folder, that you have other folders like that are not files, like other directory paths. I don't want to concatenate. I don't want to deal with that. I only want to deal with actual files. So I'm going to build some logic that would be if os path dot is file. Again, this is the method. It'll be os path dot join. In this case will be folder path comma F, right? Because again, F is really what is giving back this object here, this name. So I'm pretty much concatenating that together, and I'm doing a check if os path is file. So pretty much it's going to say, is this an actual file, right? True or false. If it is, then that's good. But if it isn't, then it's not going to give me nothing back. It's not going to do anything. Okay. And if it is, this is what we get back over here. Now, on this piece, this is just doing a check. Keep in mind a check that it's actually legit, that it's actually an actual file. It's not really concatenating enough for it, but it's going to give us back only results where the file name is a legitimate file. Now, because I want the full directory path, I'm going to do now under my if, I'm going to do os path dot join, and then I'm going to end up joining folder path comma F. All right. OF path comma F. So let me make sure I did not miss anything here. So what I have here is, okay, yep. And then this should give me back, this will give me back an actual list of this with the file name. And so let's just print it out real quick, right? Just so we could see what's happening here. Damn it. So if I do full file pass list, let's go ahead and run it. Ooh, what happened here? Function object is not blah blah blah. You know what? I think it may be this. Let's run it again. There it goes. So now as you can see, we got a list here, and then we take a look at the value. See how it's a full directory pass, right? And then it has the actual file. And then, well, of course, we have our second full directory pass with the file name, and our third, and so on. So now we have a list that pretty much provides us the full pass, so we know what to read and how to resave. That's kind of what we're doing here, right? So now that we confirm that that's valid, I'm going to remove that. Let me close this out so we can continue on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a for loop. So I'm going to do for file name in full file pass list, because it's a list object, right? Then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do with gzip.open. And then I'm going to provide the actual file name, and then I'm going to do RB for read binary. And let's call this I'm just going to call this F for file. So within this, we're reading, we're going to end up reading a zip file. That's what we're doing, number one. Number two, now we're going to do a with IO text IO wrapper. Oops. Text IO wrapper. We're going to end up reading our file, which is F, comma, encoding equals UTF-8. And then this would be as decoder. Okay. Let me make this a bit smaller. There it goes. So everything fits a bit easier. Okay. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call this context equals decoder.read. Okay. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going to call this content C. And this is going to be reading context.replace. So this is now where we're doing our changes to the actual data itself. So we saw in our case, we had a comma delimited character that we want to replace to a pipe delimited character, right? That's kind of what we want to do. So we're changing it from comma to pipe. So that's what we want to do here. After we make those changes, again, we're doing a for loop. So again, it's gonna do this first, and then once this is done, now we're gonna do a with gzip open file name. So same file name that we read, we're gonna now write to it, and that is gonna be WB for write. And I'm gonna call this output. And then same thing in here, we're gonna do with IO text wrapper. It would be output encode UTF-8 as encode. And then now we're going to end up writing. So it'll be encode dot write C. C being this object over here. So this is where we actually replace the contents, right? So we have a context, then we end up doing a replace. We just assign it to this new variable called C, and that's what we're going to end up writing. And we're writing to the same file name. So instead of creating a new file, we're taking the existing file, and we're going to overwrite it, but still being compressed. Keep that in mind, right? We're reading the file, so it's not like we're uncompressing it per se, saving it as a CSV and then recompressing it. We're reading it, and then we're going to end up saving the results back to the compressed file. That's kind of what we're doing here. So now that I have done this, now let's go ahead and run it, right? So let me hit play, just to make sure that we're done. Everything got completed. Let's do print completed successfully. In this case, it would be the file name, whatever that is. All right, so now let's run this. Boom. So it says completed successfully, file name. So it lists all the file names that got completed successfully. What you could tell, we have a handful of files, and it did it pretty damn quick, man, I gotta say. So obviously, in my case, I had thousands, or I think I had a folder with 100, then I had another one with thousands. So this came in very beneficial to make these changes on all of these files. So now let's go ahead and take a look at it, right? If we take a look at what we have, you can see that modify date, it's really a minute ago, so we know something happened. So now let's go ahead and go to our application, and I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to extract, hit OK. So now if I come over here in our folder, we have this file that's unzipped, so we can take a look at it. Let's open it up in VS Code. So now you could tell we switched it from a comma to a pipe. Now you could tell this comes in very handy. Like this came in very handy for me because I was dealing with a non-delimiter character, like the letter I in double quotes, which is not what my job when we're looking for. It needed the pipe character. So I was able to update all of this very quick on all of my thousands of files, and then obviously once I did that, I ran my job. Dude, it worked so smooth, like intended. But you could do this for other stuff. Maybe there's key values, right? Actual string values need to update and change, or things of that nature. This is one way to actually do, to do it as well. Hopefully this becomes beneficial. If somebody needs to do something similar to that, this is a issue that I came across. And when I say issue, it wasn't obviously a major issue, but it was an issue. So I was able to put a script together. Literally took me a few minutes to put something together. I was able to make my change, apply it to thousands of files that I had. My script literally was able to modify these thousands of files in a matter of like 2-3 seconds or so. It was like very quick. And then I was good, man. After that, I ran my AWS Glue job. It ran smooth. It was able to process everything to get it loaded to the data warehouse, and dude, done deal. Everything was done. So again, just wanted to share something that I came across. Maybe there's a use case for it, on your side, and if there is, now there's a video to kind of help you out. Again, it's very quick. Just a few lines of code that you could tell, under 20 lines of code, and it'll get it done. So again, guys, man, appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following. Thanks for showing support, and hopefully this helps somebody out. Peace.